Welcome back, everybody. We have our second game coming your way, MNM versus Kova. And Kova are the team that some of you may not have heard about, but they came from, I believe, the Finnish league. I mean, I think
you're right.
Maybe I'm right. Am I right?
You're right.
Oh my God, I'm right.
He did it.
And they came out to the Telia Masters. I remember they did very well in the Telia Masters, as well as Granite. So Kova coming in from the Finnish league, and they are one of the newcomers to the NLC, obviously taking on an old hat of the UK and Nordic scenes in the form of MNM. But I'm excited to see Kova in action. Granite surprised us. They brought the power to their first game. Do you think Kova can do the same? That's the question I'm going to pose and open up before we get into Champion Select. Can Kova do the same?
So obviously, I mean, they might. I predicted MNM Gaming, and specifically that's because of their mid lane as well. Air. He's been one of those guys who's just been playing a lot of regional leagues in Sweden and always winning it. But as soon as they took that step up, that's where it's kind of faltered. But the last split, he went to the Portuguese scene, won the whole entire thing as well. And I'm looking for Air now to finally prove himself on the Nordic ground, or Northern ground, just to include you UK guys as well. So I'm hoping that this is the meta he will shine. Historically, he has always been target banned by control mages. His Syndra was just that good, and you can see it now as well with Kova. They are targeting him from the get-go.
It's just so astonishing how we have 3 Nordic champions with Raxi returning back to the Nordic scene. We have Wazer, we have Chrisberg, and now Raxi returning. All 3 of them were playing in the same team in summer 2019 when they took the Nordics down, and they're all back fighting in all different teams. Raxi used to be the type of jungler that would literally just facilitate for his lanes. He would literally roam from lane to lane to lane, grab summoner spells, rinse and repeat until his teammates were so fed that the game was over super early into the game. And I can't wait to see him back in the scene, see what he can do with MNM.
So going back into the draft, the Kai'Sa first picks comes through. So what a lot of teams have been starting to do in at LPL, at LCK is they pick Aphelios into it. Never mind, screw my point. I was going to be like, yeah, because Kai'Sa wants to go into you got short range, you love that on Aphelios, and it just works out in the LPL, and the win rate is bonkers against Kai'Sa. But no, we just get the Jhin instead.
I would say that makes sense. It's also banned.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. My God.
But I mean, that's a good point. You ban Aphelios and you pick Kai'Sa, right? Because that
is okay. So that would have been my
exactly
point.
Exactly as you were saying. Yeah, but instead, you also mentioned the control mages, right, on Air, and he's slapped down that Orianna. So I'm not 100% sure, but I think she's a pretty decent control mage. Going to be going up against Victor in that mid lane as well, relatively evenly matched. And as you drew attention to there, Keenan, as well, there is an Echo here. Now we're not 100% sure where that's going to go, but I would imagine, considering we've seen Victor as well, that could be a jungle Echo, which I think is a little bit underrated right now, though also not something I would necessarily put any priority on. But it's going to be interesting to see how this one turns out with Echo.
Only issue here, if the Echo does go to jungle, sorry, Scoundrel, he is a very mana-hungry champion, and so is Victor. And yes, I know the mages are like piling up every single mana item they can find for the very few that are left in the shop with the tier, in the Lost Chapter, into Ludens, Oleanders, whatever. Echo cannot do that. He usually goes towards the Harvester, and that doesn't provide him any mana. So that means he's going to be very mana-hungry for the blue buff every single time. And the Victor will also need it in the early game to try and push over that Orianna and try to roam together with the Echo. So I just want to see how this synergy will go about.
Yeah, I think something that is at least a benefit for Echo is that the mythic items that he can go, and just his itemization in general in Season 11 is really, really nice. Because you can, like you say, either get a Night Harvester for the burst, or you go Proto Belt. Or Rocky Belt, sorry. And considering in the past, Proto Belt used to be a really good item on Echo. Like you don't get it on a lot of junglers, but Echo was one of the champions you could 1,000,000% slap down that Proto Belt. The fact that you can get that as your first item now, and like Zhonya's is ridiculously cheap. Lichbane has been changed as well, and that's a really good item to go for on junglers too. Like the items in Season 11 really suit Echo. And that is a benefit, but I would be absolutely terrified to be staring down on Olaf. And finally, after how many Gallo predictions have you two thrown out? on at least the NLC so
least
far.
one per
Every game, yeah. Even when the support's already locked in, I think Galio will be good here. There it is. Finally, the Galio locking, guys. Are you happy?
Yeah, and especially with Olaf, because Olaf one of those champions where you just want to pummel into them, and a lot of time it's like, oh, I ran too fast. I don't have my team with me. I'm dead. But no, here you get the Galio coming in as well. And what's great here is that Galio offers a magic shield. Take a look at the composition coming out from Kova. You got Victor, you got Echo, you got Kaiser. Your main damage from this source of team comp is ability power. So I love the Galio support coming in here as well. And then if you decide to just match this and you go for a team fight composition, well, when you start itemizing against them, there we go, you kind of have an edge on them because they're more AP heavy than they have AD, so the damage profile is not the best for them. While at MNM, you still got that Jhin, you got Olaf, and of course you got the Orianna, the control mage to play for.
And at the start, we kind of said how Rax is more of like a facilitator of a jungler and not so much a carry for himself. Now, in the early game, you're going to have to put all your beans into that Olaf basket because Olaf is just so incredibly, stupidly strong right now, especially with Gold Drinker, because he gets so many benefits like attack speeds, more healing, life steal when he drops lower in the HP. The lower you are in HP, with Gold Drinker, that much more AD you'll get and that much more healing you will get. So he's like so stupidly strong, and also having a pet behind him, the likes of Galio, to follow him everywhere he goes, together with an Orianna ball, is just so good.
And I love the fact that you said that Rax used to be a facilitating jungler, because he was. But the only champion he would ever play when he needed to be aggressive was Olaf. So it's perfect that that's the champion he gets to shine on in the early game now. And as you said, let's see how he does with the resources being put into him.
I think as well, just to polish off the point on Olaf, because I genuinely think that is it is the dream Olaf draft honestly this game. And if you're looking at who you're going against, because I know you mentioned the Oriannas, the Galio is going to be able to back you up when you bundle forward, which is absolutely beautiful for Olaf. But playing versus a Victor, playing versus a Kaiser, these are even like an Echo. These aren't champions that can necessarily escape you too easily. Sure, Kaiser has her ulti, but I don't think that's really going to stop when Olaf is charging at you. And then you've got the Alistar as the protection. Alistar doesn't provide protection against Ragnarok. Olaf is just going to be able to tear through the enemy team this game, and that can be absolutely terrifying depending on how his early game goes. If he gets any kind of lead, then I am absolutely... I am very scared, very, very scared playing versus an Olaf who gets fed this game.
All right, Foxy, that was a really quick point. Thank you so much. Going to hand it over to Hit Rain and Orcs to jump into game. I will see you very soon.
Thank you very much, Scoundrel. Hello and welcome to the Caster Desk as we're getting ready to go into game number 2 between Kova and MNM. We actually are ready to go rock and roll into the game. Alice, we're pretty passionate about the Olaf pick there.
I mean, I voted for Kova, right, in my predictions. And then I saw Olaf get picked, and I was like, oh, well, I guess I lose. No, but I think Olaf is really strong on the current patch, like S+ tier. And I also agree with the analyst says, not exactly the optimal composition to deal with him. So,
yeah.
You know, I haven't really said this at all today or yesterday, but I feel like this is the first time I think the deck is stacked towards MNM. It's not definitely not unwinnable for Kova, but I think they've made it hard just by allowing them to get that Olaf in such a strong position. He's got a lot of facilitators on his team. Obviously, the Orianna can shield him. He's got the shield from the Galio who can ult it on top, and then Jhin can even provide support from a distance. So I think it just sets really up for this Olaf to carry.
So, so what is Kova's game plan then? If you know, you're talking about there is still, obviously, it's not done. It's a rough draft, but it's not done. What do Kova need to do to get ahead here and, you know, pull the win out?
I mean, finding numbers advantages is always advantageous. If you find a situation where you're not dealing with your Olaf, if you're having better presence on the map, if you're just winning out in the lanes, because ultimately, you know, bot lane 2v2, Alistar Kaiser is pretty strong. If Victor manages to get CS advantage, there's those sorts of windows where you can still beat an opponent even though the draft's weaker. But if they meet them head to head, like we had the game of Singularity against Riddle. If you meet them head to head like that, I think MNM will just come out ahead if they play it correctly.
Yeah.
But there's always in League of Legends plenty of opportunities to not play it correctly. So definitely not done. It's just avoiding that Olaf is a big thing, or being in a situation where you can deal him. If you have a lot of numbers advantage, if he's overextended, he's still going to go down, especially pre-Gordrinker. But you just have to be ready for him, because if he gets fed, that's when it gets really hard.
Well, we'll keep our eyes on Kova's decision making. It's really on them to be on the ball here. Well, actually maybe off the ball because there's an Orianna. But now, pretty calm start. No invades, no plays looking to break out. Everybody just goes to lane, and Kova obviously wanted to try and get to this level 6. This level 2, when Alistair can actually do more than just pulverize where he's standing.
Yeah, I think you kind of want to wait for level 3, sorry, because level 2, yes, you can combo, but having all 3 abilities for Kai'Sa, and so you can obviously supercharge in and then follow up for a full combo. And then Alistair as well, like his combo is great, but in 2v2s in the bot lane, having the trample auto attack with the stun is actually such a big factor in trades, because it means you have more follow up than the initial combo. So I think at that point they can start like trading aggressively, but up until then it's kind of just, you know, chilling. Alistair not really a champion level 1.
Well, lane's getting shoved in pretty heavily here by MNM.
Yeah, I mean, Jin, a lot of priority. And also, the thing with Galio is he's pretty solid level 1, because you can start your Q and just harass, help to shove the wave. And you can even start WAE and look for a sort of aggressive trade. Didn't go for either of those in this situation, but helping out the pushing power, obviously a big factor. And that is something Kai'Sa can struggle with against some of these long-range AD carries. We saw it last game into the MF. And Jim isn't as punishing, but it's a similar situation where he can just push the wave in easier, can trade with you from a distance, and not giving you much room to trade back.
Well, just tracking where the junglers are at the moment. Both the junglers are on the bottom side of the map. It's going to be Raxi getting the crab, and actually not going to be traded out. Maybe seeing if he can find a little something here in this mid wave, but Proker going to be able to get back to base.
Yeah, potentially fishing to see if Victor goes for an aggressive trade. Gets a ward down on the Raptors as well, but nothing's going to come from it, and he'll just continue his clear. He's happy, he knows that's all he needs to do is just keep clearing. He's pretty comfortable.
Well, looks like Outlandish is going to be able to pick up the crab hit on here. One of the nice things about having that Echo is you can obviously break that shield CC.
Terms of being a 1-for-1 overall.
Let's actually have a little look at this this mid wave at the moment, because Proker got a pretty significant CS lead over Air. Obviously, there is a bit of a wave to catch for Air, but it's pretty solid stuff for him. He's got 50 stacks on his passive. Once he gets 100, he can upgrade one of his abilities, as you don't actually have the prototype anymore.
I mean, these are the windows where Kova can get an advantage. If mid, bot, and top all have CS leads and they start to pull ahead, and then you get a favorable team fight, definitely still winnable. Been a pretty passive game so far.
And a passive game, who do you think the passive game favors then? Do you think it just favors the MNM team? Or is it Kova okay playing passive and not falling into the Olaf trap?
I think Kova okay playing passive, because I think if you're not playing passive, the Olaf is probably going to beat you up. So I think it's fine. I think it's fine to be having a passive game at this point. You've got windows to wait for. At this point, Echo is not really going to be able to do much to the Olaf. It doesn't really get better at 6 either. And the Victor is fine just farming. So I think this is okay. I think ultimately I'd be a lot more concerned if there'd been a lot of action and Olaf was like 3-0, because I think we could just call it.
I don't think no matter what the comp would be, I'd be a bit worried if there was a 3-0 Olaf at 6 minutes.
Yeah, he's just in such a powerful state. I mean, Aatrox was one of the big ones that people were talking about when it came to Gore Drinker with regards to the increase in the healing, but Olaf has just really been dominant. Just because Olaf's always been strong early, but one of the big issues is transitioning that later in the game.
Yeah.
With Gore Drinker, you can go like a full AD build, essentially. Well, not full, but like a bruiser build. Whereas before, Olaf's would go full tank, because otherwise they'd just be useless. But with Gore Drinker, He does a ton of damage, a lot more than he did when he was in the sort of tanky Olaf meta. And he's got so much survivability, so you get the best of both worlds. And the only answer is to kill him. That's incredibly difficult to do with Gore Drinker and his bulkiness. And it's like, well, you can't CC him. He does a ton of damage, does true damage as well. Not really too many good answers.
I swear every kind of early this season, Olaf always seems to like show up at some point. Do you remember when they changed the dragons and Olaf was just disgusting? Like Ocean Drake Olaf was honestly filthy.
I mean, yeah, any healing mechanic really goes well for him. So anything with healing is big. But I also think, like, start of the season, Olaf tends to have general success because games are a bit more chaotic because people are working things out. So things that, like, do well early tend to succeed.
True that. Well, cheeky invade there, still away at camp. Tiara's actually moving around the map on the Alistair. Seeing if they can maybe set something up. I believe that was a bit of a fail ward, but...
You know, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I mean,
it didn't look like it based on his pathing, but I'm going to assume...
It's working
look
now.
Look how valuable it's dead, but look how valuable that ward was. It got 2 sweepers. That's a buy one, get one free.
Yeah, exactly. And now they
that's a
know
win in my
that
book.
Blue is moving around. So...
Everyone's done that, though. By the way, we're looking at this, and you know, everyone in the world who's played support jungle has swept at the same time as the other. It's always happened so much. It's wasteful and the bane of my existence, but very common, unfortunately.
Well, lane swaps are coming out, and Kova are going to be a little bit slower to this, but to be honest, they're probably okay not fighting right now. That
very
will be the Rift
proactive play.
Herald.
We don't often see teams doing as much of this lane swapping, so it's a very proactive play coming out from MNM to go for that. And Kova matching it, but don't end up getting anything off the back. So as much as the goal's even, seeing an all-in.
Yeah, Broker just puts down the stun for the moment. Shockwave will connect onto him, into the axe. They're not going to commit anything else here. Just a big chunk onto him. Doesn't have the teleport, remember. And with Raxi about,
yeah, I wouldn't walk up to that
tower. Might just jump onto Air, though. As the laser beam comes down. There's the stun. Air has to flash away to make sure he doesn't get caught out. And Outlandish back out of there. Doesn't want to hang around anymore.
I've seen better Echo plays, is what I'll say after that one. Oh.
They are committing for Air. No flash. I've seen better Scion plays. That's the way you're going to miss that one.
Let's just move on. I don't really want to talk about that. A lot committed by Kova to very little result. They got the flash from the Orianna and pretty much it. I like the attempt though, but yeah.
I don't think I've asked you this yet, but what has been your favorite thing about the preseason? I know we're now into the season, the preseason.
Like a
stuff.
general thing or like a
favorite
specific thing? Like a specific item or what?
Just in general. It doesn't have to be an item. It could be an item. It could be how an item's affected a certain champion.
I've just loved like working out which items are good, trying different builds and all that stuff. I found that really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's the big thing, is like just seeing different item interactions. I think just with like the strength of them, there's so many different combinations, so many different things. It's just made it really refreshing. And there's been a lot of changes over the preseason. And it just meant there was like lots of opportunity to try things out and mix things up. Obviously, it's going to solidify a bit more when we get into the season, but we're still seeing like on the recent patches, we're still seeing like substantial amounts of changes to items and champions, which is very different than what we typically always get. Like,
yeah,
a whole list of item changes and a whole list of champion changes is a lot for the game, but obviously they're still just adjusting and tweaking things.
I really like the experimentation side of everything. It's why I didn't really look up like a lot into it. I just kind of played it. I remember at the beginning there was like a LeBlanc build where you go Nash's Lichbane and like, well, you go Ludens first, but then you go like Nash's and Lichbane. And there's been so many different builds of all these different champions. I just think it like shifts up a lot of playstyles. I think that's what I've liked about it.
I mean, I'm hoping for an ideal point where like it's not going to happen. But I'd love for an ideal point where like the mythics are relatively even, and it's kind of like what works well with your champion, or like even ideally situation. Like I'd love if there was a game and Kai'Sa would go, oh, do I want Shieldbow, Kraken, or Gale Force? All three are good. which is the best here. That's like my ideal dream scenario. I don't think we'll get to that because it's very hard to reach.
The scenario is Gale Force just isn't an option. The more and more I see that item, the more I hate it.
I mean, in fairness, I'm kind of numb to it now at this point. There's been so many broken items in preseason that I'm just like, yeah, Gore Drinker, 1000 heal, Gale Force, the AD carry just dashed 8 times and 1-hit me. It's like, it's old news now.
It feels like Kraken Slayer and Gale Force are an apology letter to AD carry mains after that like mage meta we had for half a year.
I mean, you wouldn't know we had a mage meta considering that the AD carriers just flat refuse to play them. We're into Moonstone meta. Every champion needs to build Moonstone in the game. And if they don't, they're trolling.
Riftail's actually been summoned here in the mid lane. I think it was about to time out, so they had to throw it down. And this will force a couple of plates mid, but it's not going to be much more. MNM have actually rotated a lot of members over, though, to make sure that they do have control in the area. To make sure that this shove does go down. And this gold will actually get split between 2 members as Air actually stepped back.
Oh, that amount of money. I'm getting a little bit concerned. Olaf's going to hit his full build, which is Gore Drinker and nothing else. Extra gold influx helped him get there. But I mean, it's been a slow game, which, again, it's not necessarily bad for Kova, but it's not necessarily good either. Because Olaf, like, it's not old Olaf where it's like, oh, you have to be really fair or gank a ton to be relevant. And he's, keeping up well on farms. So there's going to come a point, especially where they're forced to fight. They can't just farm forever because 2 dragons already in MNM's pocket. And I mean, if there's any Dragon Soul in the game that I just cannot imagine making this scenario any worse, it's Ocean Soul. Grievous Wounds won't do anything for you at that point against Olaf. It's kind of like mandatory, but doesn't really make a difference. He's just healing a ridiculous amount. So hopefully Kova get in a position where they can look to team fight for that 3rd or 4th dragon. 3rd's when we typically see it, because obviously you want to be able to deny like soul point, because obviously if you get to that 3rd, you're a coin flip away from losing the soul. And that's in 2.5 minutes. And I'm looking at this game, I'm thinking, are they ready to fight in 2.5 minutes? No complete item on Kai'Sa, there's no complete items for much of anyone, but I imagine this Olaf's now going to reset for Gore Drinker, and that is scary. Yeah,
I mean, I was taking a look at where we were item-wise on some of these champions. Ornn's finished up his mythic, and you got the Sunfire Cape, sorry. It's not Cape anymore.
Sunfire Aegis,
thank you, on Tatooine. We're getting there towards what I assume to be the Proto Belt from Outlandish. Obviously, does have the components for a Night Harvester as well if he wants to go down that road, but I feel like Proto Belt for the sticking power is going to be quite nice. But yeah, it looks like most of these items are starting to come through. Air and Proc, getting close towards finishing up their Leandries each. And AD carry wise, those Gale Forces they're coming along. Snormy obviously had as diverted into the Sterix, something we did see a lot yesterday on the Kaisers.
The serrated dick, I mean.
Sorry, yeah, the serrated, not Sterix.
I'm impressed if you diverted into a Sterix.
Considering you can't buy that item.
You can,
what did they change?
You can buy it on ranged again. I'm pretty sure you can buy. I mean, you can buy Hydra on range. I'm pretty sure you can buy on anyone.
Yeah, that was a weird one. That was. I mean, it's cool. I actually really like it now. You get the interaction on it. Caught me off guard massively when I saw an Ashe with it for the first time.
Oh god, the Ashe build is I mean, a lot of champions really sync well with it. I mean, I think Ezreal was the first one that came out as being a cool sort of interaction.
Yes, Ezreal was the first one I saw with it, actually, not Ashe. I bet the Zed one's quite cool. Obviously, you don't really see Zed in competitive. When you see a Zed with a Hydra, that's pretty cool as well.
You know what's really sad is that for Kha'Zix and Zed, their best build in solo queue was Gore Drinker into Hydra. How sad is that?
Wow, really?
Yeah, in solo queue, those are the highest win rate builds. Gore Drinker into Hydra.
I might have to give that a go, actually. That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, you still do a ton of damage, but you're very hard to kill.
Yeah, just a mortal Zed.
Yeah, and Kha'Zix too, but...
Oh, yeah, Kha'Zix as well. I don't play Kha'Zix.
Yeah. I just get annihilated by him in 2 hits, but,
and then he goes back to full health, even if you get him low.
Yep. I think Ravenous as well is like a bit... I mean, it's getting nerfed next patch very slightly, but that's something that's a big enabler as well. Just the fact it's not Omnivamp, a lot of AD carries taking it. I mean, both AD carries this game will have it. And it's just like, it's like better lifesteal. You know, because Ravenous gives 11% once you got all those champion kills. Obviously not much now, but like, it's like having 11% lifesteal, but it works on your abilities too. We're a team player, by the way.
Yeah, actually, that was a real homie move there. Let him get that wave, and Raxi barreling towards this top side, wants to pick up the Herald for his team as well. Being a real team player right now. 2 dragons to MNM. This will be their second Rift Herald as well. As Proka just needs to be careful. That shockwave's gonna get knocked out of the Deadly Flourish. A lot of damage coming in from the Curtain Call. His Outlandish will eat up some of that, and Mihabaris is just going to move away. He doesn't want to get jumped onto by the Echo as MNM. They burn 2 ultimates, but ultimately that just gives their jungler free time to pick up an uncontested Rift Herald. He could crack open mid tower right here, right now if he wants to. Actually, with the axes going down, maybe?
I think you wait. You wait until the dragon spawned, and then you do it. And then obviously, Kova have to respond, but you're going to be able to get the tower pretty easily, and then potentially a second charge if they don't respond. So I think they wait for that. Right now, I mean, I'm feeling confident for MNM to fight this. We've already got 2 dragons in the pocket. 3rd would be massive. First item's complete for a lot of people, but not the Kai'Sa critically.
Yes. This is the problem when you do go for the Serrated Dirk as your second item on Kai'Sa, or your first kind of component item, is it does slow down that Mythic, which means you will be down a Gale Force or a Kraken Slayer, depending on what you want to get up here. And the ultimate's coming back onto air fairly soon. The taunt comes out from blue, and Tiara jumps in. They've got the knock up from the Ornhorn. Tower's gone down already. The Deadly Flourish will lock down 1 for the moment. MNM looking to go for this fight. There's the knock up. There's Tatooine getting jumped onto the dash forward, and that'll be first blood picked up. Here comes the ultimate. Here comes the Wombo combo. MNM just turning it on right now. Taking everybody out. Tiara has to flash away as Air gets a kill onto Proka, and Blue is able to get his way. Ed's continuing to go forward as Snormy gets chunked out heavily. MNM fighting 2 and losing nobody.
Yeah, 2 for 0 in the fight. They get the tower and they get the dragon. It's a massive win for MNM after a relatively slow game. And, you know, only consolation prize is that Olaf isn't getting kills, but a kill on the Orianna, a kill on the Jhin, you will absolutely take it. And now a soul point already in the game. Things are looking concerning for Kova.
It's not been a chaotic game. It's just been MNM with a chokehold. Their comp is too scary for Kova. And we did say at the beginning, sure, play it calm, but
you can see this situation. I think you have to let the tower go. They're trying to force because they don't want to give up mid priority, but you're never going to defend it. Tati's in a really bad spot, and the rest of the team is trying to do something in return, but the shockwave really nice for the setup, and then this taunt from Blue, massive here. Just CCs the entire backline, and although they're not able to chase down these kills necessarily, they do enough damage. They're able to cut away. MNM doesn't lose a single member, and it was just better execution, and it was a fight Kova didn't need to take. The tower is going down. You're never stopping that. Fight the dragon instead.
well, like you said, the Ocean Drake is probably going to be the scariest thing for Kova now. Gore Drinker Ocean Olaf. He's going to feel nigh unkillable. And speaking of people who are going to be pretty hard to kill, they are looking to jump into the Ornn. Great Bellow's Breath, but he has a lot of damage getting layered into him, and Snormy will pick the kill up. He's tanky, but he's not that tanky. Now, Tatooine on the receiving end of a potential dive himself is going to be forced to ult away just so he doesn't go down, and Kova will take a tower. So it's one turret apiece, and they're going to continue to shove here, but MNM do have the inside track on the mid lane right now, tier 2. Mihabaris and Sky's just starting that one up.
I like to play. You go for a cross map in this situation, find a numbers advantage because currently you're struggling a bit in the power level. And actually, MNM went for a push here.
Gale Force has been used, got that flash, still doesn't have the heal. That's a lot of damage.
Just Gale Force things.
So yeah,
let's slide out of that one.
That is the modern life of a ADC versus an assassin.
Pretty much. We need the assassins to start building Gale Force, right? It's an arms race. We need to have as many dashes.
I did see Talon Gale Force pop up the other day. Not something you've really seen competitive though.
Talon or Talon Gale Force?
Talon with Gale Force.
I don't think you see Talon on competitive either, to be honest.
Sorry, that's what I meant. You don't really see Talon.
Yeah. Either way, though, Answer back comes by on the bot lane tower for MNM, so still marginally ahead. Like, the gold lead's not massive at this point, but I'm just worried about the power because would you see that complete item for Snurmy? But I'm still just concerned about the lacking damage against this Olaf. I think MNM's comp is just stronger right now. And there's a dragon spawning in 2 minutes 15. And if MNM get that, even if they lose the fight off it, I still think they're in a pretty good spot. But if they win the fight and they get the soul, I don't see what hope there is for Kova.
Yeah, it's going to feel really desperate for them. Now, Proka taking the tower in the bot side. Blue just roaming around in the jungle on his own, just getting some control of the area, some control of the vision. His team and 3 members on this top side for MNM. They're quite happy to trade out this tier 1 bot side for a tier 1 top side and keep the towers even. Actually, in their favor.
But I still like this from Kova. Just trading across the map, avoiding the Olaf, not getting baited into fights.
Yeah.
It's the right decision to go for. But unfortunately, we're speaking of getting baited into fights. There's literally a clock that is telling us when the next fight's going to be. And there's no avoiding it. There's no option. Resets are going to come in. That gold's going to get spent. But it's go time in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, look at the items that have just been picked up. You got the Archangels on air. Mihabaris has now finished up the Collector. Basically coming through for Raxi fairly soon.
If Raxi gets Sterak's, it's just doomed. If he backs and gets Sterak's, so I think it's really, really going to blow.
And the ornaments are getting handed out as well. Well, not quite yet.
They have a hope. He didn't have the full Sterak's. Right, that's the saving grace in this situation. If you had the full Sterak's, I'd be so concerned. But do you have the Collector coming out for Snurmy as well? So, again, the gold lead's not massive. It's very small at this point.
Yeah.
There's still a world where Kova win this one.
Taught by Blue onto Tatooine. Not really going to stick too much there. There is a good parallel convergence just to kind of zone MNM, but they're not really going to take that into them. Air's got that shockwave and he's setting the ball up. Look at Mihai Barris just playing far away. Doesn't want to receive any poke. Doesn't want to get potentially caught out. Putting those traps down to also slow the moves in from Kova. Like you said, this is the fight. It has to happen. As the curtain gets cooled, they're trying to charge him forward. Tiara jumps forward and Agu got a massive shockwave on the free. Outlanders just jumped straight back out as the Cool of the Forge God will knock up Snormy. Tatooine getting zoned away for the moment, and Raxi has been chunked pretty heavily, but still got that Gore Drinker so can heal up, and MNM finding himself 2 quick kills. They're just going to be going for more. Snormy loses his life. Proka can't do anything else here.
It has to be a steal.
Doesn't have the Chaos Storm.
Oh, I mean, that it doesn't kill him, but that essentially rules the steal possibility. Ocean Soul Olaf on this patch. I mean, and you know what? He's going to go back to base and buy right now.
Asking me the Sterak's. I feel like MNM could probably just force it Baron.
The damage isn't really here, but the engage is also rough. And I like the decision for Raxi. He's feeling confident to go in. Chara gets forced into a bad spot because of the true damage from the Olaf, but the carries at the back are untouched, and you don't win this front-to-back situation. The front line of Kova gets destroyed. The back line of MNM is still safe. And then they go for the slow reset, allow the Scion to die once again, and then you can see Kova know they can't back out from this fight. They have to commit, but a beautiful flash taunt from Blue catches out Snurmy, and at that point it's doomed. Your only hope is a steal, but the CC, the damage coming out from Miabaros here, essentially rules Outlanders having no chance of stealing this Baron. Dragon, sorry.
I mean, Baron is very much a real thing here for MNM. They don't even have to start it. They just have to threaten it and force Kova to walk into them. Obviously, they don't really have the ward set up at the moment. They were more paying attention towards that dragon area, but they're now making their way forward. They've got a few wards here in the river. Kova looking to come clear some of this out. Raxi does need to be a little careful, but is able
I don't
to make
think he
his
does.
way.
No. I legitimately don't think he does.
Oh, big shockwave. They're actually looking to dive in. Snormy's going for the shutdown. Is able to get it. Ultimate gets cancelled, and now they are looking to turn it. Raxi not quite there, and it's a double kill for Snormy.
It's a really nice engage.
Easy kills.
Yeah, and the good thing is they didn't go for Raxi, because I think that definitely would have been a mistake, but they find a 2-0. They're on the Baron. Raxi's still alive. And he has results, so he can definitely get in, but the engage comes out.
Oh, Tiara! That's just Mihabaris down, a shutdown for Snomi. Suddenly, this Kaiser has just gotten so fed. It's an unofficial quadra kill. 4 members of MNM fall, and Raxi's going to have to do the Lord's work right now. Doesn't have flash.
But the boss cone is up. I think he's just leaving, though. I mean, this is madness. Kova getting it, losing the Ocean Soul against a team composition like MNM's, but a beautiful pick comes out, beautiful engage, and they're able to pick up the Baron.
Let's have a look at that again.
Yeah, so Raxi, he's fine being in this position. He's not actually that threatened, but Air definitely is, and Outlandish finds a beautiful flank, gets that stun, Air not in a position to get away with no flash, then the engage comes in. You can see Raxi, he's considering going back in, but he's like, this is not a good fight for us. I don't want to be in this. They accept the 2 deaths, and they back away. But then this beautiful engage comes out because Kova don't want to coin flip this. 5 against 3 isn't good enough odds, and Raxi is there with a smite. But they wait for this opportunity where the Hex Flash comes in from Chara, the combo follows up. As soon as they get the AD carry, it's easy to pick up the tank. And Raxi, this super strong Olaf with the Ocean Soul, he's literally just sat there and watched. Nothing he can do in that scenario.
And Air and Mihabaris just get caught out for free effectively. You see the gold difference over time on your screens right now. Just been swung back heavily in the favor of Kova. 2,000 gold lead. And MNM scattered, getting picked off one by one. They had the soul. They had the tools to work with, but miscommunication has cost them a lot of their grip hold, their pressure on this game. And Snorri's looking for Air. Ooh. Oh my lord, he just one-shots him.
Just Kaiser things. What a champion. Air going down, and Kova looking to push up this mid lane. Things were looking doomed, but they are finding momentum. Waited for their spikes, and now looking to pressure.
They might just be able to crack the turret here. This will be the base being opened by Kova. Air's up in 25 seconds. They don't really have the wave to actually look to close out, so we'll just step away.
Yeah, they got so much gold from that. They still have a minute 15 on the Baron, and for anyone wondering, Elder is up in 2 minutes, so they can use the Baron a bit longer. They can reset, and then they can spend their gold and look to contest that Elder Dragon.
Mihabaris has got the Typhoon, the upgrade from the Ornn.
Flexing that name knowledge, aren't you, Jake?
It's the one I know. I couldn't tell you what any of the other ones are called at the moment.
Reset comes out. Grievous Wounds picked up, but I mean, we'll get a replay of that kill. This is just Kaiser things. The W connects. The burst with the Collector and the Gale Force. Oh. Insane. Very little counterplay there. Don't get hit by the W, I guess. Don't be alone apart from your team. Definitely true, but I don't think you really expected that damage. I didn't either. Not sure if you did, Jake.
I've seen a lot of Kaiser over the last few days, and even so, I didn't expect him just to one-shot him that hard.
Yeah. Desperately pressing his Seraph shield, only to remember it's not there anymore.
That play the Rune King did catch me off guard.
The first time I played Seraph, I was spamming it, and I was like, why is it still off cooldown?
Oh my lord. That's a tank, by the way. I believe that's a Force of Nature, actually, so it's got a lot of magic resist in the build right now.
Yeah. Fair bit of armor as well, though, from his Mythic, and obviously with the upgrade too. But Dragon is up in 45, is obviously Elder, and I mean, MNM are now in the position where they are forced to fight, but broke out of position.
Yeah, he's actually just probably dead here. All of the CC layered, and Mihabaris will pick that up with the curtain call. Clears out the wave as well while he's at it. Backseaters are going to deal with this Scion. Just get knocked up. TR slides in. There's the shockwave catching on to 2 into the knockup from the Gale. Air is on his own, and Snormy's looking to run him down. Loads of damage though. And it's a shutdown for Blue. Tatooine has to flash the wall, but Air will just continue the chase. The Leandri's bird is just cooking him alive. And this should just be Elder Dragon for MNM. Tiara on his own. He's actually just looking to interrupt the bases here. Wait, are they looking to close?
I mean, there's no way.
There's no way.
There's no way. There's no way at all.
way.
They have TP, so it's not happening. Let's not even discuss the possibility. It's not happening, okay? He's trying to disrupt it. TPs are coming back. It gets ended. Elder Dragon picked up by MNM. He will get some damage. Wait, he TP to the tower?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so he's there. He can defend it. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Funko did TP to the tower. They did lose a tower at least.
Yeah, cool.
But with Elder Dragon on,
it's all fine.
Gonna put the brakes. Let's have a look at this again, though.
Proca's just out of position with no flash. It's just like a huge mistake, honestly, with Dragon being up so soon. And I actually like the ambitious play from Kova to try and turn this one around. It definitely is ambitious, but Tiara doing some work here, going over the wall, the follow-ups there. They buy a lot of time with the Shockwave and the Galio Shield, but Snurmy manages to sneak out. And if Air hadn't flashed, potentially could have seen both carries down, but he does get dealt with. And it's kind of just MNM consolidating their advantage from taking down the Victor. They're able to get the Elder, so now we're seeing another shift in the game. Gold, dead even, Elder buff, and Ocean Soul in favor of MNM, and Baron in a minute. I think Kova might just have to give this up. I don't think he can fight this.
Teleport coming in from MNM as well. They're bringing Air in. So here's the Call of the Forge God. Snormy able to dodge away on it. Deadly Flourish is going to get dodged out by the Supercharge. And it looks like MNM for now are just continuing their siege into the face of Kova as we do have a quick pause.
Yeah, they're like, what? Guys, I just saw Kai'Sa dash like 3 times in a row. What's going on?
This been it was a phenomenal turnaround from MNM, but also for Kova to get themselves into that, just huge stuff there.
I mean, yeah, the play from Kova to get back in was honestly monumental. The fact they found that opportunity in a game that looked really rough. I mean, I feel like any game where you give over Dragon Soul feels like a bad one, but especially Ocean Soul into like the likes of an Olaf. But they managed to just brute force on. They managed to find an opportunity back in the game, and as much as there've been a couple of mistakes afterwards, as much as there's not in a dominant position now, I'm confident that we can see those windows again, and this is still anyone's game.
Absolutely. Well, it does look like our issues have been resolved, and we'll be loading back into the game any second now. See how this is going to resolve between MNM and Kova, because it has been a doozy. The gold is only 100 between them. As we load back in, 30 minutes on the clock. Ocean Soul still in the favor of MNM, however.
Yeah, it doesn't change hands. I mean, the triple buff is very significant. And I think it might end up being a turtling situation for Kova. I don't think you fight this. I think you wait, you let the Elder Dragon wear out, and then when the enemy team has Baron, you look for one of those engages. But I think fighting against Elder is so dangerous. And if you lose this fight, you could well just lose the game of it.
Absolutely. Are they going to maybe look for a poke? It looks like they're not even going for this dragon. Outlandish on the other side of the map.
It's the right decision.
No interest in contesting this. Like you said, wait out that Elder. It's got a little bit left on it. I actually can't quite see the timer.
I mean, it's going off pretty soon. And that gives them the window to fight. Like, they've lost the Baron buff, but the Elder's now going to be down, so it gives you a window to take the fight.
Yeah. I mean, tier 2 topside falling down. Well, these turrets have started to fall.
Yeah, the Elder Dragon.
Now with the Elder's worn off, are they going to make this play? This has been spotted out on the ward, and MNM step away instantly.
This game's stolen Life's Edge. The thing is, there is now an advantage in gold for MNM, but they haven't based and spent since that Baron.
True.
So it's not being reflected. Chara is looking for a flank, has the Hex Splash.
Gets a free man stun out from Outlandish. Snorri's dives straight in onto the backline. Shockwave's going to be whiffed. Tiara's coming in on the flank, and the Olaf is just running through everyone. Snorri trying to jump away for the moment, but the fight is an absolute scrap right now. Snorri keeping himself away as far as possible, but Kova are looking for the MNM members. They're looking to take absolutely everybody down. Raxi will fall, and Kova make the hero play. Funko is teleported onto by Tatooine, and he is just going to try and put as much damage in as possible. CC for as long as possible. This Ornn is tanky, but not tanky enough. Kova may just well have done it. They may just well have taken MNM out against all odds. The Ocean Soul Olaf team have just been walked through by Kova here. And now they're making their way into the base, looking to close this game out from that siege already from Tatooine. They've only got one turret at the Nexus standing. 2 seconds until air's up. Here comes the curtain call. Here comes the parallel convergence. MNM are going to have to make a massive play happen right now. The flash away from Tiara. And now MNM, it's their turn to turn this back around as Air gets himself a kill. Tatooine just about able to survive for a little bit longer, but the tower shot will finish him off. And MNM, This game is not over yet.
Yeah, I think it was a bit ambitious to go for the end there. They had no minion wave. Even the one tower is enough to defend because it becomes so tanky without minions. So end up losing 2 members, but ultimately I don't think MNM could do anything in response particularly. And we get to watch this beautiful engage again. Eyes on Outlandish here. Goes in for the flash, triple stun. You can see they all dive on an air, and they don't finish him off because Snurmy doesn't want to sacrifice his positioning and keeps himself alive here. But at this point, Victor steps up, takes out both these backline carries, and this late in the game, 3 tanks against a full team, they just don't have the damage, especially with that CC follow-up. Really beautiful play. Kova are finding some amazing engages this game.
Just massive props to Snurmy. Everybody bolted towards him, and seeing the power of the Gale Force and his ulti with the flash, just able to put enough distance between him and Raxi to make sure that he timed out the Olaf ultimate and then could finish him up afterwards. Just stellar stuff from Kova and Snurmy. Probably being one of the real reasons that they've been able to pull themselves back into this game.
Yeah, I mean,
have a quick replay.
Look how slowly the tower's going down at this point, and like the spawn timers were coming in. This was a risky play to go for. They should have been happy with the advantage they got, reset. I mean, ultimately, giving over 2 kills doesn't really matter, so I can understand them wanting to go for the push, and they made the right decision to back off, but it was about unrealistic. But now, we're looking at an Elder Dragon coming up in 15 seconds. Take stock of the flashes available. Miabaras has his, but Air doesn't. Snurmy has his, but Proka doesn't. And also Outlandish on this Echo does not, and he had massive impact with it in the last fight.
Big part of the setup. Here comes the curtain call. The fight is on. Snurmy misses out on the W, and Tatui's chunked out heavily now. Kova might just have to step away, but they don't want to give up the Elder Dragon. Tiara very far forward, and Kova actually just grabbing this wave as here comes the call of the Forge God. Proka will lose his Banshees as a 2-man knockup comes in. Raxi looks to jump into the back line, and Miha Burrows takes out Outlandish. The flash comes down as they use the Galio ult, interrupted by Tiara. But Tiara's now on his own. Tatui burning so low to Air, and Air will take him down. And Snurmy comes in for the assassination, can't quite get it off yet. Trying to get a little bit extra damage off, but he can't do so. Miha Burrows will take him out, and MNM found themselves a couple of kills. They may just look to turn this into the Dragon or into some base structures.
I think you look for the end here. They have the minion wave. They're protecting it from Tiara. You can see Tiara's looking to clear it. They have a lot of structures to break through, but it's 35 seconds on Snurmy. Outlandish, as soon as he died quickly, bare minimum this is inhibitor, but this could be looking for the end. If Proka dies, it's going to be devastating.
Oh, Proka is so dead. The shutdown from Mihir Barros. But the turret will fall. The inhibitor will fall. They have the minions. They have the wave. And Tiara is going to have to buy so much time. Outlandish is up. No flash, remember, as he's looking for the parallel convergence stun. Gets the shield and has to ping back out. Tiara's looking for the knockup. The tower is being focused out, though, and Kova still don't have their AD carry. Tiara loses his life. The Nexus has been taken down. 36 minutes on the clock, and MNM find themselves the win.
A close game. I think by all means, that's what we can say about it. Super close, super on the life steps for the entire thing. I mean, the early game was just slow, but we saw the advantages picked up by MNM, and I kind of felt like Ocean Soul secured. That should just be locking things up, but
yeah,
that performance, honestly, there from both Kova to try and get back in the game and from MNM to solidify and then find the win in the end, I think both teams could be happy with a really strong performance starting off the NLC, but
absolutely,
there were definitely a lot of mistakes to work on.
I feel like probably fans of both teams probably have fairly high heart rates right now after that game. It was very back and forth. And either team probably had the opportunity to win at some point, but MNM are the team that come out on top. Now, guys, we're going to throw to a quick break, and when we're back, we'll let our analyst desk break that game down a little bit more, so we'll see you in a second.
Falling further, only time will tell. It's time to make a start. We can't stay where we are, my love. This is our one chance to chase the sun. We've got to cut and run, my love. For all the reasons we work so hard, for the life that we deserve. I know that we'll be on golden sands, seeing far across the world.
We're not trolling you this time, guys. We're actually back. If you want to tweet at the NLC and tell everyone what a great job Max is doing. I'm joking, Max, we love you. Anyway, look, so we have an interview ready to go here. And actually, Raxi will be joining. Okay, Max is telling me off in production chat now, guys. I might have got in trouble. Raxi is here, though, to join us for an interview from MNM, so we're going to bring him in and say hello. Raxi, I hope you're doing well. That was a game. That was a game of League of Legends, and you guys had to work really hard for the win. I think one of the first things I want to talk about is obviously you were kind of in control for the majority of the game, like all the way up to that third dragon. You were kind of you were cruising. You had good macro control. You were pretty much you didn't get into too many fights, but it felt like you were never really letting go of the map. Basically, you kind of had control of the map. What changed from that point? What went wrong for you? And then how did you as a team, like collectively get your heads back in the game and say, no, like let's reset, let's get back in and try and win?
I think we started the game very well. We took control of what we had to take control of. My matchup was very one-sided. I should get all my camps. I should get every single piece of the map if I want it. We started off great. Obviously, I would like to have more fights in the game. It would probably benefit us considering our comp. The Orianna and Olaf is really strong for that, and I don't think Victor matched it. So I think our game plan worked out really well to an extent. We got the Heralds, we got the gold, we secured a really strong lead. I think we kind of fell off when we started fumbling with our lead. We started going to sites we should not exist on. We got caught on the Nash. I just think we made the game really difficult for no reason, and honestly, I'm not very proud of this game. But then again, we're playing with the top laner, so it's obviously a circumstance that's going to change the game. I think we're a lot more confident as a roster with Bobista, but unfortunately he can't play right now, so we're just gonna have to fight it out with the current circumstances. But overall, I'm happy that we won today because I really think we deserve it, even if we trolled a bit this game.
Yeah, I mean, Kova gave you a good fight. Like, it was a lot of fights that were definitely close for either team. How did you guys? Okay, this is a question actually. Did you think you'd lost when that fight happened at top lane inhibitor turret and they basically got a clean ace except for your Ornn? Did you think you'd lost at that point? Did you think that, oh well, they're just going to push down mid and end the game? Because I feel like Ornn clutched it out in that mid lane wave. Like, were you still confident that you were in the game at that point, or did you think, or did you take that chance that was given to you and just be like, oh crap, like we need to be like 100% here because we were just given a chance to get back into the game?
I mean, that fight in particular, I think we misplayed like very, very hard. We didn't position as we intended to. We got caught. They just cleaned us up. But like as soon as we lost the fight, I called Ornn to go to the mid wave. Like we couldn't do anything in the fight. It was me, Galio, and Ornn left. I called him to take the mid wave. I mean, obviously, like you always have this thought going through your head, like maybe the game is lost now, maybe it's not. I mean, you just have to do to make the best out of the situations. We called him mid. We got the waves, like luckily, and they couldn't end the game. But obviously, like it feels kind of bad that it has to go down to this. Like they have to like die on the Nexus turret, and we have to win off that. It feels like we should have ended this game like long before that. But yeah, we won the game.
Hey, look, you won at the end of the day, dude, and obviously with a sub, even more difficult for you. We saw how Fnatic fared with their sub, so I know it can be difficult when you've got a sub coming into the team for team synergy and how you play the games out. Look, congratulations on the win. I know it was a tough one. I hope we get to see you guys sort of at least winning the way that you'd want to in your next game, and I'll get to chat to you soon.
Yep, thank you.
All right, guys. Not going to get too much time to chat about the game, I think, because we're going to have a bit of a quick turnaround here. But we do have a player of the game that we want to break down. So I'm going to bring that in, and I can't remember who's doing it, but whoever's doing it, take it away, please.
What's up? We back on the drawing board. Here we are. I've already drawn a circle. I hope you're impressed. Before the game went to chaos, I would have described this game as controlled, methodical, and patient coming out from MNM. And I still do that here. Pay in mind the first block has not happened yet. So they have been extremely good at setting up their objectives. They got in every Herald, they got in every Drake so far. Take a look at the minimap right now. The resets has come through, but the reset came through way earlier from Kova, which actually means that he will be pushing in the top side, which means that no matter what happens in this fight, there will be resources lost on the top side for Kova. Same can be said about bot side. They're moving in the Jhin to get some pressure and then move together with the rest of the team. The next thing we need to pay attention to is, of course, the build right here between the two AD carries. The discrepancy you got here in mythic items are huge. Kai'Sa is not really a threat that we will see her to be later in the game, but the power spike between these two carries is absolutely phenomenal for Jhin here, which means that no matter what kind of happens, this Jhin will always have the upper hand. But we go on to the game and watch it play out. We already have Raxi that I earlier mentioned that has got the Rift Herald. The resets are coming through, and essentially this just forces all of Kova to group around the mid lane. And they feel kind of safe right now. They think they can take this fight. When this fight starts, there is a tower for them, but watch as Shelly marches forward, how that tower actually just disappears, and now you have Kova, who's extremely overextended. The way that they navigate this fight on MNM is absolutely phenomenal. First knockup, you're going to pay attention to the shockwave coming in a bit from air as well. Shockwave onto the Galio, and then you watch the flash coming in from the Galio just to clean it up. And as I said, at this point in the game, it's completely even in terms of kills, but the resources, the setups that's come out from MNM is just what gives them the edge. And I think they should have been able to close this out without throwing, but honestly, the early game from them was perfect until it just wasn't.
Yeah, that was a Coast Gaming moment. It was they were winning until they weren't, but then they ended up winning in the end anyway. Look, I'd love to break down this game. Obviously, we had a little bit of a delay here, so we have to get into the next game, unfortunately. So we're not going to get too much time to talk about this one. But after the break, we have Godsent versus Dusty. Dusty's chance to get, or both teams' chance to get on the board with a win in this game. So we'll see how they fare as we get into Champions Select for our third game of the night.